Welcome to this continuation video on the 3 stages for backward course design. For this segment, we are looking at Stage 2 of the Understanding by Design template. Now, Stage 2 is about determining assessments. Assessments are instrumental for measuring the evidence to show what the student has learned, which is best seen when a student applies their knowledge and their skills in authentic contexts. So creating assessments is important because they will demonstrate to what extent the learning goals have been achieved. This is true for transfer goals, in addition to other knowledge and skills the student will learn from the course. Now, come and join me as I show you the Stage 2 of the Understanding by Design template. Before we look at the components for Stage 2, let's quickly review some things we saw in the first segment. As you'll recall in Stage 1, we identified the knowledge and skills that students will learn from the course. After we listed the standards and competencies, we first came up with desired goals for knowledge and transfer skills. We came up with the essential questions and understandings for the course that drive the student's ability to transfer their knowledge and skills. We then identified other basic skills and knowledge that are also part of the course. Now, each of the items we just reviewed are used in Stage 2 to determine the appropriate assessments for the course. So let's look at Stage 2. Stage 2 actually looks short and simple at first glance, but really it is more complex. Stage 2 is a vital part of the template because without it, you wouldn't be able to know what level of learning has occurred and whether or not the course was successful. The first part of Stage 2 is where you come up with authentic performance tasks that reflect learning transfer. As you'll see on the left-hand side of the page, the transfer and meaning goals need to be in alignment with the performance tasks. Now, what I've been doing to make sure I don't miss anything is I first go to the right-hand column and determine the criteria that needs to be evaluated. To do that, I evaluate the transfer and meaning goals and come up with a measurable criteria list. And then after determining that criteria, it is easier to come up with a performance task that will incorporate the criteria. When writing the performance tasks, it is important to incorporate the 6 facets of understanding. The 6 facets are explaining, interpreting, applying, having perspective, having empathy, and reflection or self-understanding. And another important thing to do when coming up with a performance task is to write what is called the GRASPS format. To do this, you start with the goal statement for the task, then you define the role of the student for the task, and you define the audience for the task. Next, you identify the setting or context for the task. Then you define the performance expected from the task. And the last thing is to disclose the criteria that will be used to evaluate the performance of the task. After you're done coming up with the performance tasks, there is a section for assessing the other types of knowledge and skills that are part of the course. These are different than the higher level assessments, yet they are still important for the learning experience. Once again, I would start by coming up with criteria from all the different types of goals, especially the knowledge and skills goals. For this section, it is acceptable to have a matching quiz or a skills test. Reflective activities are also good. It is always important to keep the assessments in alignment with other parts of the template by adding the code for the related desired results in the left-hand column. Now, the last part of Stage 2 is about creating a rubric for a performance task assessment. All you have to do is choose a performance assessment and the criteria already identified in the previous section, and then fill in the information. The part that takes time is to carefully word the evaluation parts for each characteristic. This is to differentiate the degrees of performance. By wording this well, the student will know exactly what they need to be able to do and how they will be graded. Rubrics are also great for consistent grading. Well, that's really all there is to Stage 2. Next time we'll cover the final stage, Stage 3. I look forward to seeing you again.